Welcome to Brannon Hill, once a thriving, picturesque neighborhood nestled in the heart of Clarkston, Georgia. In this once tranquil community, residents used to enjoy the perfect blend of suburban charm and modern amenities. But unfortunately, in recent times, Brannon Hill faces its own unique set of challenges. The community has even been called the worst community in America. Over the last 20 or so years, Brannon Hill has suffered from dilapidation and crime. Many of the remaining residents, which are mostly immigrants, are dealing with fear and anxiety due to lack of resources, high levels of crime, violence, and building structural and fire hazards. But there is a glimmer of hope as community and local church organizations have been getting involved to help the residents and provide much-needed services to the Brannon Hill community. On this edition of God Dreamers, Jeff Seeger, one of the community volunteers, shares about his involvement in helping the community rebound one step at a time.
What's up, family? Welcome to another edition of God Dreamers. Today we are out here in Brannon Hills. For those who may not be familiar with this community has kind of gone through a lot of transition, a lot of challenges. And if you look in the background, you can see this used to be a tennis court, but right now it's just kind of an empty lot, so to speak. But anyway, I have my brother Jeff Seeger here today, who's been spearheading a ministry out in this area that's really making a difference in the community. And I'm so grateful for Jeff, you taking a quick moment to hang out with us, because this is actually a work day. I'll show some shots of people working at as we do this recording, but thank you for just taking the time out to hang out with God Dreamers today.
Hey, I really appreciate you coming down. You could have phoned this in, you could have done a lot, but you show up. You're here, and I really appreciate it.
Oh man,
so thanks. This is really a forgotten community, and you're here.
Yeah, and I'm glad to be here. It's a privilege and honor to be here. As this helicopter flies right by, perfect timing. That's what happens when you shoot outside, so you just never know what's going to happen.
Leaf blowers, Harleys.
Yeah, sirens and so forth. It's
Wife's calling, not my wife.
Oh man, but anyway, thank you for being on God Dreamers. So let me ask you a question. Who is Jeff Seeger? Who are you? What makes you tick?
I have a brother that's actually a pretty notable person, and he introduced himself to someone whose name you've probably heard of, and he literally told this person, "I'm the son of a donut maker from Normal, Illinois." He could have bragged about an awful lot of stuff. He's a scholar, but that's literally what he said. So I'm Jeff. I'm a son of a donut maker from Normal, Illinois. I follow Jesus best I can. I'm trying to live the way he tells me to live. If Jesus says something's important, then I want to keep that important in my life, not just try to do the minimum and tick a box and get on with what I want to do.
Yeah.
I really try to put Jesus first, but it's hard. It is hard. I get so selfish. I get so, you think you're doing pretty good, and then someone takes away something you like, and you're like, no, I'm not. I have some work to do because I was selfish in that area.
Yeah.
So it's a continual finding new areas of my life that I need to die to, and then hopefully, the Lord can rebirth me in that area of my life again.
Yeah.
But I'm just blessed to have some opportunities to see some places like out here. So I don't know if that answers your question, but man, I'm just a guy trying to serve Jesus.
Yeah. Well, this is my second time out here, and our ministry, our church ministry, in addition to another church ministry that's been out here. I guess you guys have been out here for almost a year, right? A little bit over a year?
A couple of years, yeah. I just checked. I first started working out here, I think it was September 2020. Sorry, September 2021.
Okay. So it's been...
No, it was 2020.
Okay.
September 2020, that's right.
Wow.
That's right, shortly after COVID wrecked the world.
So let me ask you a question. So what led you here? Well, how did you find out about Brannon Hills?
Yeah, well, I've known about this community. I've come through here for well over 10 years. There's a friend of mine from Zambia. Zambi guy, is a good friend of mine, and he was visiting some things here in the U.S., and I brought him here, and he couldn't believe what he saw. He said, this is worse than most places in Africa that I know.
Wow.
And you know, Zambia is actually a great country. It's not a country wrecked and destroyed by civil war like Democratic Republic of Congo or Sierra Leone or other places like that, but that was his take on it. So, but I wasn't content coming out here and doing a little pot shot. You know, come out here like, well, I'm going to go do this little project and then leave. I mean, this community that is in this shape, you need a long-term strategic effort.
Yeah.
And it was only when I got involved with this other ministry called Envision Atlanta. They had a long-term vision out here, and I partnered up with them. And then some other people involved in that had some transitions, and they didn't. So I was like, I'll take over for them. I'll take over. And so you know, this project is way too big to do on my own. So my beloved church, Victory Church, started coming down here. And then Christ Covenant started getting it, and then other people started hearing about it. Now I've got, there's a couple notable churches, some big churches in Atlanta that want to come out here as well. We can't have everyone, you know, we can't work on top of each other, but people see this, they don't know it exists. And they're shocked. And a question I get all the time is, do people actually live in these buildings? I'm like, okay, children are being raised in these buildings. It's out of shot sight now, but we have some children's toys right behind us here. Children are here being raised. So yeah, there's a lot of people that live here. And you see that, and you just, you know, I feel like someone's got to do something. So I'm so blessed. I have so many good people coming. Victory Church, Christ Covenant, and others coming out here and joining us.
So what happened here? Let's back up a little bit so those that are watching kind of get a background to this community. How did we get here? I mean, based on your knowledge.
Yeah, what happened? What happened? We don't fully know, but I'll tell you what we think. This used to be the best community in Clarkston. And I know that because a friend of mine is about 55, and she, well, I think I ballparked it, she may not like that, but she was a little girl, about 8, 9 years old. She would sneak into this place because this place had the best swimming pool in Clarkston. So she figured out some little way that sounds like my 8-year-old, but would sneak in, and she'd go swimming here. When I started coming here, we had 15-foot trees growing out of what used to be the swimming pool.
15 foot?
15 foot. How long does it take to grow a 15-foot tree? I have pictures of this.
Wow.
That doesn't happen overnight.
No, it doesn't. Wow.
No one planted a 12-foot tree there. That grew because it got filled in with dirt, and then slowly stuff started growing out of there. So we don't fully know how did everything shut down. Well, what we do know is that something happened with the HOA, where all of a sudden everybody stopped paying. Everyone stopped working with the HOA. And then with no functioning HOA, the lawn guys aren't getting paid. The trash guys aren't getting paid. Lights aren't getting paid. Water bill isn't getting paid. We think someone from the HOA probably stole the money that was there. And when people are stealing all the money, you're not going to pay anymore. So everyone stopped paying. And then over time, the services here, potholes started showing up, grass gets longer, buildings don't get taken care of. All of a sudden, everything starts falling apart. And when that happens, some bad people start moving in here too. We started getting gangs moving in here. We started getting prostitutes moving in here. Homeless started moving here. And then I would say it's been at least this way for the last 20, 25 years, where it's just been pretty decrepit situation here. I'm not calling the people decrepit. Just never do that. The conditions are decrepit. Rumor has it that HUD, the Housing and Urban Development, federal branch, they said this was the worst neighborhood in America, supposedly. I haven't verified that. I've Googled it. I haven't found it. But it has been on the local news calling this neighborhood a war zone. But thankfully, that's changing. Thankfully, that's changing, and we've had the police tell us it's changing in dramatic ways. But we don't know the exact causes. But I haven't concerned myself with that because knowing the history doesn't change the future always. History is great. I love history, but I was like, how can we improve it? You know, it's impossible to really know who did what.
Yeah.
But there was a total collapse of the local governments, and the local government's the one that's supposed to take care of this community, the HOA. And when they're gone, nothing happens.
Yeah. Wow. So who lives here? I mean, some of these buildings right now.
A lot of people living here are non-Americans. Sometimes they came legally. Sometimes they came illegally. Sometimes they're refugees. I can think of people in all three categories right now, and I don't care to a degree.
Yeah.
Now my wife's a legal immigrant, so I have some opinions. But if someone's sitting in front of you, don't judge them whether how did you get here?
Yeah.
You know, this is a person who needs Jesus, so it doesn't, in that aspect, I don't care.
Yeah.
But people here have all kinds of different stories. One of my good friends came here as a legal scholar or a legal scholarship, and then something happened. He got involved in some bad things at school he shouldn't have, and then he ended up going to jail for a little while, and then ended up here. Now he's having a hard time finding work, but he comes and works with us, and he's a good man. I love this guy. I won't mention his name. You probably wouldn't want that, but he's a good man, and I love him. And he's just looking for work, and so I try to hire him for stuff, but he wants to work for me for free. He just wants to contribute. He's not even looking for money. So, but I found people here from I found a guy from Mexico living here, a guy from Pakistan, but most of them are from Somalia, Ethiopia, Eritrea, Iraq, Syria. It's a really sweet family from Yemen living here. So sweet. I've been to that country. And that Yemen is one of the most hospitable countries I've ever been to in my life. And I'm not saying that as someone who's been to 4 countries. I used to work on a ship, and I've got my passport stamped a lot of times in a lot of places. Yemen is absolutely one of the most friendly countries, and they ended up here because this is all they can afford. So not everyone is here on government assistance. Some people, they can just afford it. And we know people that are literally, there's an empty apartment that no one's living in, but it keeps them out of the weather. And so they'll put a lock on the door, but there's no electricity. There's no water.
Wow.
And they live here. Because it's the only place left. So it's a real variety of things. But what I keep finding all over is there's a lot of people that are just so lovable. So lovable. And I was just joking around with a friend of mine from this. He used to live in Midtown Atlanta. He was my neighbor. And now he's living here because his life fell apart. It's not even all his fault.
Wow.
But his life fell apart in a pretty big way. And he found himself here. So it's a variety, but a lot of the people here are Muslims or come from Muslim countries. But there's all kinds of people. There's white, black, Latino, Asian. You find a little bit of everything.
Yeah, so it's almost like a melting pot here.
It is. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like I said, I've been here a few times, and every time I've been here, people have always been really friendly, waving. So people, like I said, are really friendly. And, it's just really heart-wrenching to see the conditions that they're living in. Because these condos are basically, I think there's one up in front where the floor is totally collapsed.
That's right.
And so forth.
It's right behind you.
Yeah.
And there is a front porch, and the front porch had degraded so bad. There's a bottom floor porch and a second floor porch. The upstairs porch, little balcony there, it had literally just fallen apart, fallen off. And when it fell, it took most of the floor of the second floor with it. So if you went up to that second floor, you couldn't walk to the doors anymore because literally about 10 foot before you would get to what used to be the door to your porch, the floor's missing, and you would go straight to the first floor.
Wow, that's crazy.
And my same friend here, he just cleaned a lot of it up and covered it with the tarp. just to clean up. No one paid him. No one asked him to do it. He just, it was the right thing to do.
Wow.
And he found a tarp somewhere, and he just wanted to help clean up his own neighborhood.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty bad situations.
Yeah. So what's driving you to make a change here? What is that motivation? What's that fire in you? Because before we start this interview, you said you were pissed. You're like, man, I hate to see people living like this. So is that part of that drive that you want to make a difference here?
Yeah, let me give you the full story on that one. Is first of all, I knew about this neighborhood. Like I said, I knew nothing's going. But when I started partnering with Envision, they had something going. So at least there's something I could jump on with. I don't have to start everything myself. But also I saw a lot of potential for bringing people out here. Like today, we have Christ Covenant out here today. There had probably 25, 30 people come. I think some days we've had up to 50 people come out, which is a lot to organize. But that's a great turnout.
Yeah, that is.
A lot of people waking up early on a Saturday morning to pick up other people's trash. So, but I think the thing that kept me awake at night, and it literally did at times keep me awake at night, was when I heard that there is a young lady that, a lot of people don't have good job opportunities, so they have to work night shift. She was just trying to get home. For whatever reason, she was out late, just trying to get home. And in these buildings, if you live in the back units, you can't go in the front. You have to walk around the back. Not all the lights work in this neighborhood. No one's taking care of the landscaping and the bushes anymore. So you have to walk through overgrown, dark places just to get inside your apartment. And so we had some guys who came with an Envision team, and they were just cutting back some bushes. And apparently it was the same young lady that came out, and she didn't even speak English. But she saw them, and she just, blah, 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 just rapidly saying something. And these guys are all confused. Well, someone came out and translated, and they said, okay, this young lady's saying thank you, thank you, thank you. And these guys, they're just cutting back the bushes, right? They're just like average people here coming. Well, I think they're extraordinary, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just like, it's just a bush. That's kind of what they said to her. Like, why are you so thankful when we're just trimming back? And she goes, no, this was the bush they raped me behind.
Wow.
Thank you so much for getting rid of it.
Wow.
Imagine that through a translator.
Wow.
They raped me is the way I understand it. So cutting back that bush all of a sudden got a whole lot more meaningful. This is no longer a landscaping project. Now, I don't know what they knew or what their motivations were, but that just shook me up. This young woman now, 16 years old, I found out, is going to be dealing with probably trauma the rest of her life. How do you heal from that?
Yeah, that's tough.
That's tough. That's a long term. Best case scenario, you always have a piece missing in you, I think. You can forgive, there's healing, physical healing even, but there's always a bad scar left on you for that.
Yeah.
And that keeps happening. I keep thinking that is going to keep. Now, I haven't heard that since.
Yeah.
But I'm not good with that. I'm not good with that. I don't know what to do, but I'm not going to sit on my hands. I'm not going to say be warm to be filled. So we started talking, and we started getting some teams out here. And sure enough, we were cutting back some bushes about a year ago behind some of these apartments.
Yeah.
And a lady came out and looked at my friend Dave, and she literally looked up and just went like this, put her arms up and said, thank you. Thank you. And then she started talking to Dave. And this lady's probably 40, ballparked it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But she says, I work the night shift. I get home at 4:30 in the morning. I see men watching me when I come home at 4:30. And they know I have to walk behind my apartment to get in there. Thank you so much for cutting back all the brush so that they had a place to hide in the past.
Wow.
So I'm not good with sitting around like that.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't know what the end game is here. I don't have a future plan. Well, we have plans. We have dreams.
Yeah.
We're putting plow to dirt on those dreams. We're not talking about them. We're active on those.
Yeah.
But some of them are so big, it's going to take Jesus to step in individually. Hey, this is going to happen. You know what it feels like? It's a parting of the seas.
Yeah.
But I know this: no one's getting raped because the bushes are too high anymore. Today we have a whole crew of guys cutting back more bushes. That to me equals less young women getting raped. And now we have kids playing here.
Yeah,
you know?
that's a fascinating thing is that I've been out here and we're cutting back some of the shrubs, and you're not thinking of that, when you're doing it. You just want to clear out the area, but that is, for some people, that's so significant. Like you said, I mean, that would not have been my thought.
No.
With somebody saying, "Hey, thank you. Now I'm safe." So that's fascinating.
And as guys, we don't really have the full appreciation of I think some of the fear women have to deal with.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine living with that. God bless our strong woman. I married a strong woman, but literally right over here, these bushes used to be just these massive bushes.
Massive bushes.
That's where the dumpster's behind all those bushes.
So you had to walk.
You got to walk through a maze of bushes to get through, just to get rid of your trash. You know if anyone's in those bushes? You don't know if anyone's in those bushes. You kind of walking away from all the buildings. You want to have a young lady walk past there? Hey, middle of the day, who cares? You can walk through that maze over there. You hope you come back without your trash. I'm not good with that.
Yeah.
So thank the Lord, so many people have come alongside. You don't have to be educated. I got my 14-year-old out here. Guess what? He's learning how to use power tools. Guess what he's doing? Cutting back bushes. And he can still count to 10 with all 5 fingers on each hand. So I'm good. He didn't cut himself. We tried to do a little safety training. But it's like, can you cut back weeds? Can you pick? When we start doing these things, what's been a real beautiful thing is now we're seeing the community clean up as well.
Yeah.
There's places here we've been mowing. Guess what? We're not mowing there anymore.
Yeah,
the community is now doing. I'm not their lawn service, and I don't want to be, but the same thing. If I can help them get started, so that they can get a vision, they can. It's a lot easier to cut the grass when it's 6 inches tall, than when it's 3 foot tall.
Yeah.
We've had to cut grass like that. I've had to raise money to get tools to do stuff like that. And thank the Lord, people have given, and we got it now.
Yeah.
They're using these tools right over there today. But it is a long-term thing we're doing. But I met the police almost just right over here behind us. We were showing some passengers the community, and then here comes the cop car. The cop wants to see who we are. I want to talk to the cop too, so I'm good with that.
Yeah.
So he comes over and he says, "Hey, yeah, we've been doing," and he's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I've been hearing, and we're not looking for credit. We don't care." But he says, and this is last year. We met him, I think it was September, maybe October, we saw him here. And he said, up until from January 1st until Mother's Day, I should know what Mother's Day is. What is that, May?
Yeah,
somewhere,
May.
Spring, right? Spring.
Yes. Yeah, spring.
Ballpark and a lot of stuff. This is the ballpark podcast today, right?
I'll know when
ballparking. Okay,
I know the day
and then
before.
we love our moms, and that's an important day for us. But okay, love you, Mom. So, but so it's roughly spring. Well, in spring, this neighborhood was in the national news, and I was looking at the national news, and I saw, 3 people shot in Atlanta on Mother's Day. Oh, that's Brannon Hill. And you see the pictures of what happened. I'm like, yeah, I remember cutting those bushes. I remember mowing that. Like, I can see where we've worked. And it's weird seeing that on national news.
Yeah.
A national news story. So, so there was, and the thing was, it was people not even from this community. People from outside came to have a party, and they got drunk, and all these guys were gangsters of some sort. I don't know, we're talking Crips, Vice Lords, Bloods. They could have been something else. I don't even know, but there's a criminal element with these guys. They all had, you don't bring pieces to a party normally unless you're usually involved in, I don't know. I never have. Maybe I don't go to the wrong parties, but so they got all drunk to shoot themselves up with something, and then they got the guns and started the real shooting. 3 dead, 3 wounded. I believe those guys are from a country called South Sudan. So Sudan had agreed that they had a little secessionist movement. South Sudan. Then South Sudan got in their own civil war. It's horrible. But I believe they were from that area, and they got in a gunfight at a party. 3 dead, 3 wounded.
Wow.
But here's what the cop told me. So people they're not even from this community came to a party because the landlord or the resident of that apartment was gone. They knew they could use his apartment. Came in, he's gone, have a party in his apartment. That's what they did.
Wow.
So, but the cops said from January 1st until that shooting, there were 19 911 calls to this community. Since then, and that was about at least 4 months.
Yeah.
Since then, we've had 3.
Wow.
So 19 911 calls in the first part of last year, down to 3. That is a significant drop. And I called one of those 911 calls, so I know, okay, that one and 2 others.
Wow.
And there's a lot of brokenness here still. We had a guy who was not in his right mind. There's some mental illness that he has, and I don't know if drugs and alcohol play a part. They often do. But he hears voices, and he had maybe he was off his medication, I don't know. But he went and got a piece of trash, which happened to be the back end of a vacuum cleaner, and beat a man with it. And we had a serve day, again, same place we are right now. So then someone told, hey, Jeff, there's something going on over here, and I went, and so I saw that the other man had left. So I helped wipe the blood off this man.
Oh, gosh.
He didn't speak English. They needed me to call 911.
Wow.
So I was here wiping the blood off a very good man. Someone had a mental breakdown and beat the tar out of him.
Wow.
So, yeah. So that's a tough thing. But think about that improvement, though. Think of what we're seeing happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and I want to talk about that because, over the last 2 years, like I said, things are changing slowly. I mean, when a group of people are coming out here, they're cleaning. Today you're filling in potholes.
Yeah.
And then now you're doing, one of the churches having free food.
Yep.
Have a food truck here. They're going around and just ministering to a lot of the residents, and then even some of the residents are coming out and eating free food and so forth. And
we try to get as many as we can.
And even like some of the kids are coming out, and this is like a little outing for them. They kind of come hang out and talk and so forth. Yeah. So I see the great things of how God is kind of just slowly, shaping and also in a lot of ways putting a hedge of protection around the community. I mean, what are your thoughts on all that?
Amen to everything you said. Yeah, it's fun. It becomes a community day.
Yeah.
It's really hard to believe this, but with one of the first teams I brought out here, it was a victory team. We worked in what we used to call the dump. The reason it's a dump is because it's a vacant parking lot way back here. The reason it's a vacant parking lot is all the buildings that used to live there have since burned down. These buildings burn down occasionally here. And people are out. I think this is only half the number of buildings in the community.
Wow.
I'm gonna guess there's 16, 17 buildings, ballpark, but it used to be like 35.
Wow, that many burned
So
down?
right here, all this whole area behind us used to all be full of buildings. Yeah, they're not wasting space. They're putting buildings everywhere. So those are all burned down. But there's an empty parking lot that used to be surrounding buildings. This neighborhood was so bad, all the surrounding communities used to dump their trash here. And if you come from a country like Sudan, Ethiopia, Somalia, which a lot of my friends are, I've seen them here today, from all 3 of those countries today, they're here. You are from an honor-shame mentality. Like in America, it's your worldview. You're either guilty or you're innocent. That's like a big, important worldview to us. They come from a different type of worldview where you feel shame or honor. And shame is like devaluing you as a person. Honor is like giving you, like dignity.
Yeah.
Or shame is the removal of dignity. So could you imagine their status here, how they feel emotionally, when all the surrounding communities have literally dumped tons and tons and tons of trash in their neighborhood.
That way. Wow.
So they're wearing shame. So where do you live? Oh, I live in Brannon Hill. What are the other communities thinking? Oh, we dump our trash there. We found an old jacuzzi back there. How'd you get rid of a jacuzzi, right? Well, apparently Brannon Hill. So that's what's been happening. But what happens is we had our team from Victory. We said, we're going to Victory paid to get 3 dumpsters. I love my church. And they're not getting any benefit. The church isn't getting benefit. That's just charity.
Yeah.
But they're happy to do it. They rented 3 dumpsters, 3 big dumpsters. I think it was $1,500 that they spent. And we had a team of people out here filling dumpsters all day. And you would not believe the smiles on the people who are filling the dumpsters. There's something so life-giving about doing that.
Yeah.
And so you see the people here, they get up early on a Saturday. There's a joy that just kind of comes over them. There's something about doing the Lord's work.
Yeah.
These guys coming out here, cutting with me, filling pot, it's hard work. These guys got, look at my hands, right? That's what we've been doing. These guys got this all over them. They're smiling.
Yeah.
So there's a joy in just doing this that I think it's a God-given joy, but even Muslims experience it. When we come work together with them, sometimes they're happy.
Yeah.
You know, but I think there's just God blesses this when you do that. And so it's crazy to believe. Even my kids come out here and they love it. My son gets up at 6 a.m. back when he was 12. 6 a.m. he wakes up to go pick up trash with Dad in this community.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
He used to get his machete and whack stuff, and that was a little bit dangerous. He's 12, right? 13. Now he's 14. He still comes out here. So he got up with me this morning. Now we ran off to baseball practice. But he wanted to be here as long as he could until he had to go to baseball practice. So it's community coming together. It's people working together.
Yeah.
I love having Victory out here. I love having Christ Covenant out here. We're all working together. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So
and I think I messed up your original question there, by the way.
No.
But it's the dump site, and it's all these things coming together.
Yeah. I get it. And I see that. Like I said, there's a lot of cool things that are happening. And for those who are watching, how can they get involved? I know, Victory has. As a matter of fact, if you guys want to know more about it, just make a comment in the comment section, and then I'll get you some information. Because our men's ministry, we come out here ever so often. I'm not sure how regularly we'll be out here, but there's a team out here every other week. And there's the serve day, and then there's a community day, right?
Yeah, the serve day is when our fingers look like this at the end, right? Doesn't have to be that bad, right? No one's going to cover you in tar, but that's when we get the power tools. That's when we're doing large-scale picking up trash. That's when we're taking couches, breaking them into pieces, and throwing them in dumpsters. It's a little dirty work, and some of the stuff people are picking up, you definitely want to have rubber gloves on when you pick that up. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
But it's all kinds of stuff. So what's happened with Victory is, they'll be coming out at some point this year. I'm not sure, but Christ Covenant comes. And they're really happy they're buying food. Like, we have this incredible ministry. It's called M25 Barbecue. They're just sponsoring what we're doing today.
Yeah.
They're
awesome.
Giving all of our people, all of their own, feeding the community, huge amount of food. They raised money to do that. We didn't pay them. They said, can we come and bless you guys with food while you're doing this?
Yeah.
But Christ Covenant, meanwhile, we just get about 150 hot dogs and burgers. And we just say, anyone who wants to come get a burger. And so anyone who was the Christ Covenant said, Jeff, anyone from Victory, they want to come, we're just happy to come. They can just come.
Yeah.
They have an open policy. So they're feeding all their own people and anyone else who wants to come out. That's pretty darn generous of them.
That's very generous.
That's very generous of them.
Food is good. I had a burger not too long.
We're working on it. Thank you, M25.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you, Jeff, for hanging out with us today and sharing what's going on in the community here. Just thank you for your service. Thank you for your faithfulness and your passion to want to not just sit on something, but actually do something. Faith without works is dead. And I mean, you're working out your faith as we speak, and through God's help, we're seeing this community change. So thank you for your heart and your service.
Well, there's been I really believe the Lord blessed this. I mean, I had someone buy a $10,000 trailer for me. That doesn't just happen. My church and others have donated thousands so we can buy proper steel tools, because steel actually starts. It's really frustrating to come out here and our power tools won't start.
Yeah.
People have gotten involved with giving. We had $1,000 given just to buy blacktop to fill these potholes, because there's like a plague of potholes here, because no one's taking care of those. We got 3 large potholes filled, and I mean like wide. $1,000 for that. $1,000. That's how much that costs, and and I've put a lot of research. What is the cheapest way we can do this? But you know what? It's our so that, and you know what? If someone can come help pick up trash, you don't have to be an expert. We have children who come. Children come. We have children here today. My little girl, 9, comes out picking up trash. And sneaking cookies. A lot of that. But also, let me just say this as well, just to finish. The problems here are so deep. is so overwhelming. I get overwhelmed being out here. It's like, Lord, gee, what do we do? Well, how can we really solve things?
Yeah.
And you know, you start making progress, and then 2 weeks ago there's a murder right out here. Lady got shot, murdered. She was pregnant. That baby's in critical condition. Lord, save that baby. If there's, you know, then we had one of our residences just died right here, and we're thankful that we believe that she was made right with the Lord before. Not because she said a little prayer at her deathbed. She showed evidence of faith in action.
Praise the Lord there.
And it was after horrific years of drug abuse and addiction that she made public. And so we believe she's with the Lord now. But one of the most important things, I'm sorry to keep dragging this out here,
all good.
One of the most important things we can do here is just pray. And you know, I'm a practical guy. I want to, you know, pick up something. I want to do something. You know, I'm impatient with prayer, and I shouldn't be. That's on me. That's on me. I shouldn't be. So what we do is we have people come and do prayer walks while we're here. So they stay mostly a few mud puddles they might have to walk through, right? We need prayer, and if we could do about anything in this community well, I think it's going to come from prayer. If our foundation is prayer, that we are just walking, praying, Lord Jesus, can we see your kingdom come? Jesus taught us in the Sermon on the Mount, Lord, how do we, you know, pray, Lord, your kingdom come. So Lord, can we see your kingdom come to Brannon Hill? I actually believe that will make a massive difference. And so we are constantly asking, please come and pray, please come and pray, please come and pray. When we're going door to door today, asking for food orders for people, we're saying, how can we pray for you? Because we really believe the Lord will do things through prayer. So if someone even just wants to come and just walk with us, pray with us, pray over buildings, pray over a person you meet. Now maybe they don't want prayer, that we don't force prayer on anyone.
Yeah. But
just to walk the streets. You know, I've prayed for a friend of mine became a cop. He went through the academy, and this wasn't any strategy, but I just said, hey, Lord, can you pray for a divine appointment with really bad people that need to be arrested, that are in public? He got rear-ended one day in his squad car, right? So he's a cop driving around, car rear-ends him. 4 guys had warrants out for their arrest for drugs. Their brakes went out in their car.
What?
Yeah. And I realized, like, wow, we prayed for divine appointment. So I would like, you know, there are some people that come here to shoot up, to rob, to rape. They still come here. There might be people living in this community with some really bad intentions. And we say, Lord, can you bring justice here? I'm not asking that they're going to have harm come, but Lord, can you get these people arrested?
Yeah.
Something. Because they are hurting people. If you come and you're intent on hurting people here, I had a friend of mine OD on heroin. He's dead. He's dead. Someone sold him that heroin. So I have some points. So, you know, you know, when you watch people die through drug overdoses, that's hurtful. That's really hurtful. So if someone's coming here selling drugs, dealing drugs, Lord, can we get them out? I'm not against them as a person. I want them to become redeemed. I want that for them.
Yeah.
I've seen that in my own family. People get redeemed, they leave that lifestyle. But I don't want them to come and hurt any more people here. There are good people here that are getting hurt.
Yeah.
No more 16-year-olds getting raped. So Lord, can you help us to see the bad people move out? Lord, can you bring angels so the bad people don't want to come?
Yeah.
They see bodyguards or police officers or something. Lord, we've heard a lot of stories. So if people come and pray, we believe the Lord's going to shine his light, and the light will push out the darkness. Amen. And I can't do that. I can't put, you know, I can only bring so much light, but Lord, can you send your light? We believe prayer are going to flip the lights on in this place.
Amen.
So Lord, bring your light here and use us along the way.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, thank you again, man. Really
thank you.
Excited about what you shared and blessed by what you shared. And guys, if you want to know more about, you know, what Jeff is doing, just like I said, just reach out to me through the comments, and I can get to let you know as far as what's going to be happening in the future here. And like you said, prayer. If nothing else that you
please
can do,
pray
if
for
you
us.
can pray.
Please pray.
You know, so please step in and pray. But anyway, you know, if you guys like what we're doing, you know, please subscribe or like, share with friends and family. And then until next time, you guys take care. We'll see you. God bless. All right.
Thank you,
Take care,
guys.
Take
Appreciate
care.
you.